We have one more week in the series that we're called Bad Advice, How to Ruin Your Life in a Few Simple Steps. Next week, or not next week, in 2 weeks, December, first week in December, we're going to start a new series, our Christmas series called 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. And the premise behind it is that we're going to be looking at the plan that God had from the very beginning, the plan of Christ, who he had from the very beginning. Christmas is not a knee-jerk reaction on God's part. Like we sin, and then he's like, oh no, I got to do something about this. That is not what Christmas is. And so we're going to be looking at that, and I ask that you, like right now, start praying. Like we ask you to pray for one all the time. Pray for one, and with that specifically in mind, who needs to hear the Christmas story this season, this year? And it might be a friend of yours, it might be a coworker, it might be anybody. Just be praying about that right now, and be praying about the opportunity to open up and invite them to church. And so December 3rd will be the first week of that series. But right now, we're in a series called Bad Advice. And you ask yourself, who goes to church for bad advice? You do. You do. That's right. You all do. See, the thing is, so often we live our lives, the way we live our lives implies that we're taking bad advice. And what this whole series is about is literally one huge illustration. Like, the whole series is an illustration just to show you what bad advice looks like. Just to show you how obvious bad advice is and how stupid it really is. Okay? So that you can be prepared to make wise decisions in important areas of your life. And so that's what this is. This is one huge sermon illustration. The whole series is just that. And with that being said, there is no area of your life more important than relationships. Now, it just so happens, I feel like I'm, when it comes to relationship advice, I feel like I'm pretty good. Okay? Now, here's the thing. I don't think that's real difficult. I think every single one of us can be experts in relationship advice. Why? Because I think it's common sense. I think it's, giving good relationship advice is common sense. Like, for example, I had a young lady say to me, hey, Justin, my boyfriend who's cheating on me 5 times wants me back. What should I do? And I go, don't do it. Go find someone that won't cheat on you. That's what you should do. She didn't. She went back to him. I had this couple. They're getting ready to get married, and I said, hey, bud, you and your fiance would definitely benefit from some premarital counseling. He's like, why do I need premarital counseling? I've already been married a couple times. He didn't get it. And then I had this husband and father say to me one time. He said, my wife keeps saying that I spend too much time at work and not enough time with her and the kids. And my advice was, you should probably not spend so much time at work. Spend some more time with her and the kids. And he was like, no. I just want you to tell me how I can get her to stop nagging me. I was like, don't spend so much time at work and spend some more time with her and the kids. Right? Now, here's the thing. I always wondered myself, I thought to myself, what would happen? What would happen if I went the opposite with all that? Like if I was like, only 5 times, run into his open arms. I'm sure all 5 times were just an accident. Right? What if I was like, if I said, new relationship, go ahead and wing your new marriage, right? 3rd time's a charm, eh? Or you should probably work some more. Pick up an extra shift, and when your wife is talking to you, completely zone out and ignore her. Better yet, pretend you're asleep. Right? See how stupid all that sounds? It's common sense. It's common sense. You know when you're getting bad advice because you can just sit back and go, that is absolutely stupid. That is stupid. Because that's what bad advice is. It's just plain stupid. Now, here's the thing. Most people want to be married. Most people want to be married. Most people plan to be married. Most people plan to spend the rest of their life with that certain special someone. They plan that kind of stuff out. Most people do not plan to have an affair. The vast majority. Why? Because they don't believe in it. They believe that it is a sin. They believe that it is it's not right to do that to somebody else. As Christians, we believe that. We're like, sit back, we're like, yeah, Exodus chapter 20, verse 14. Exodus 20:14. The vast majority of us, we all believe, hey, you shall not commit what? Adultery. You want to know the interesting part? This is really interesting. Take it outside our Christian world. Take it outside of the church. And you know that the general population, 90% that don't have religious backgrounds or religious views whatsoever, think the same exact thing. They believe that adultery, an affair, is a sin. That's amazing. Not just in the church, even outside of the church. Therefore, it makes it even more interesting when you start seeing studies that say basically, there's one in the Journal of Psychology and Christianity today. It says that 65% of husbands and 55% of wives will have an affair. So even though we know that it's wrong and we know that we shouldn't do it and we think it's a sin, why are so many still doing it? Why are so many still falling prey? So that's why I think it's so important for us to talk about this morning. To address it, to talk about it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a little bit of bad advice to bring out that godly advice, that godly wisdom so that you can see it here today. And so if you want to have a great marriage, if you want a very blessed and very holy marriage, and one day you just want to totally mess it all up, jack it up, risk everything. If you want to do all that, then I will teach you how to do it in 3 simple steps. First step is this. If you want to go ahead and ruin your marriage and lead it towards an affair, the first thing you do is neglect your marriage. I want you to write that down. Neglect your marriage. How do you do that? Real simple. All right, it's real simple. You don't want to have that intimacy. You want to go ahead and potentially lead yourself to do something stupid. Neglect your marriage. And the way you do that is very simple. It's give something or someone else the best of you. Give your best to them. It doesn't even have to be a person. It can be a hobby. It can be a hobby. It can be your job. It can be your favorite sports team. It can be social media. There you go. Just stalk people that you don't know. It's fun and exciting. You can obsess about them all day long, and it'll be fantastic. All right? You can get into fitness, all about your body. And you can work out all the time. If you focus on that, put it into that. Put all of your efforts, put your best into that. Your kids. Kids are great, right? Put your best just into them and neglect your spouse, neglect your marriage, and you're well on your way. You are well on your way. So basically, what I want you to do is take your spouse completely for granted. Don't talk to them. Don't do anything for them. Don't do anything with them. Don't ask them how they're feeling. Don't have any kind of emotional bond whatsoever. Don't share. Don't do any of that stuff at all. Don't open up. And of course, physical intimacy, no. If you have to, make sure it's really boring, okay? So how do you commit adultery? How do you have an affair? Step 1, neglect your marriage. Number 2, this might not come as a surprise, but flirt with other people. Yeah, I know, right? Oh, wow. Flirt with other people. Be as flirtatious as you want, all right? Find somebody that, you might possibly be interested in or might be possibly attracted to, and go ahead, put it out there. Flirt as much as you want, all right? And spend more time with that person than anybody else. It can be at work. It can be at the gym. Besides, it's no big deal, right? Flirting means nothing. Am I right? We've all said that. Flirting means nothing other than this. Behave as though attracted to or trying to attract. That's the actual definition. But besides that, it means absolutely nothing, right? It means absolutely nothing. It's totally harmless. You just keep telling yourself that. And then here's the thing. It's so easy to flirt. You can do it in so many different ways. It can be verbally. It can be like the words you say. You can kind of banter back and forth. Oh, hey, yeah. You can do that. You can write it. You can write little notes to each other. Texting. Hey, technology, right? Use it to your advantage, folks. Texting is a great way to flirt as well. Better yet, body language. But ladies, that little hair flip you do it. All right? Do that, a little hair. Guys, I don't know what your body language is. Like sucking your gut. Don't forget to breathe, okay? Really important on that one. But flirt. Go out of your way to be around that other person that you're kind of attracted to. And you know what? You want to take it up a notch? You know what you do? Like, find little ways that, just little brushes of physical contact. Like they got their hand out there and you reach out for the stapler and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Do that. All right? Great way to flirt. Okay? Great way to flirt. Let's go ahead and flirt as much as possible with other people besides. All right? You're not flirting with your spouse. You did that before. When you did that in order to get your spouse. You're not doing it anymore, right? Why? Because you're neglecting your marriage. So flirt with as many people as possible. Okay? And the third one is this. Ready? And this is really important. This is really, really important. Make excuses. Make excuses. And so you got neglect your marriage, which is absolutely horrible advice. You've got flirt a lot, and that is really bad advice. And finally, make excuses. Make excuses and rationalize your actions. Blame them for your actions. Well, if he would just pay attention to me, or she would just spend some quality time with me, blame them. Blame them for your actions. Because here's the deal. That makes you feel better about yourself. That makes you feel really good about yourself. It really does. Because here's the thing. That's what it's all about. About you feeling good about yourself. Like, God, you can tell yourself this. You're like, well, I'm not happy, and God really wants me to be happy, right? Because we all know that in the grand scheme of the universe, that's God's greatest goal. That you are happy above any and everything else in all of creation. That was the heaviest sarcasm I've ever put on you guys. You know it, too. You're like, that was a good one, Justin. I know. So make excuses, all right? Go ahead and keep blaming them. And because here's the deal. Besides, like if they paid attention to you, you pay attention to them, right? If they flirted with you, you would flirt with them, right? Or you know what? Hey, if they would just pay a little bit more attention, then so would I. It's not your fault. It's theirs. So make excuses. So here's the deal. This is what you got. 1, neglect your spouse. Everything else is more important than them. Everything else is more important than them. Give something or someone else your best. Number 2, flirt with other people because it's only flirting. It's totally meaningless. Nothing else. And finally, make excuses. Blame them for your actions. Blame them for your actions. Now, stop right there. How stupid does all that sound? Because I did that really on purpose. I made that sound the dumbest as I could possibly think. Because it is. It is totally stupid. And that's how you know it's bad advice. Because it's so stupid. It is so ridiculous. It is so horrible. Yet, that's how many people are living. Right? Like you see it every day. That's how many people are living. You're thinking to yourself, who are you listening to? Who in the world are you listening to? So let's go ahead. Let's turn the tables on the sarcasm because I'm done with it for today. And let's get real. Here's how I view marriage. In Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. The first part of marriage. The first picture of marriage. That is why a man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife. And they become one flesh. God ordained marriage. He ordains marriage, this union, this holy matrimony. And he said, the two of them are going to become one. Like, you're two separate individuals, and when you come together, you are now one. One above all else. That word unite means to cleave. Like, you are cleaving together. You to adhere to stick to. Like, it's you two only. It's you two. Like, when I got married, Faye and I got married, I looked back at my family, and I said, see you, suckers, and I left. I was with my wife, because then we started our new family. And then my wife did the same thing, but she was a lot nicer about it. It's like, bye, I love you guys. And then it was us. It was just us. And this is how I view, ready for this? This is how I view one flesh. It's me and my wife against the world. It's us against everybody else. Nobody ever comes between us. It is her and I against the world. And I tell couples this all the time. I said, no, it is you two against everybody else. It's you two against this world. See, there is no one, when I say no one, let me just tell you how much that means. Not a single soul comes between us. Not our friends, not other family members, not even our kids, not co-workers, not church members, none of you. Nobody comes between us. Here's the thing, like if you ever get upset with me because like I can't hang out personally or something, like, hey, Justin, can we do something? And I'm like, well, I really can't because of, and I have a reason, and it has to do with my wife. So you want to know, here's the deal. If I can't hang out with you personally or do something with you personally, you want to know the reason why? My wife is more important than you. What? I am so sorry if I insulted you. But to me, my wife is more important than any single one of you. Now, if you're upset about that and you don't like that, you can feel free to email me all your complaints. I got a special email set up for it. Justin@idon'tcare.com. Write out as much as you want, has an automatic response that says, I don't care. We're going to send it right back to you. I don't care. All right? Because you want to know why? Because I don't care. She is more important than any one of you. Yeah, she's absolutely more important than any one of you. And so I will go out of my way to nurture and care for our relationship above anything else. Her and I are one. We chose each other like I chose her. She chose me. We got married. We had kids and everything. And so every decision that we make is very deliberate and precise to guard that and protect ourselves. Protect our union. It's us against the world. She is more important to me than anybody else in this entire world. And so she is my best friend. She is my best friend. She is my partner. She is my lover. She is my one. She's my everything there. God gave her to me, and I'm going to protect her with everything I have. Everything. Now, here's the thing, and the reason why I put it so strong like that, us against the world, is because most people never plan to have an affair. They never plan to have an affair. You know what else most people don't do? They never plan not to have an affair. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to plan not to have an affair. And here's how I see it. This is what I want to share with you today. Here's how you go about that. The first thing is this. You got to make clear boundaries. Make clear boundaries. That's the first thing you got to do. Proverbs 5:8. It's a great little study when it comes to relationships. But it's his father. And this father is giving advice to his son. And in this specific context, he's saying, listen, you know the young lady that you shouldn't be around? Okay? You know who she is. And you know where she's at. Stay as far away from her as possible. Now, ladies, we can flip that. We can flip that scenario because, like, you know the young man you should stay away from. You know who he is. You know where he's at. Stay as far away from him as possible. Listen to what he says. He says, keep to a path far from her. Do not go near the door of her house. And so he's saying, stay as far away as possible. You set this clear boundary and don't go past it. Because here's what we do. We end up crossing line after line after line after line after line. And we say to ourselves, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I have not done anything wrong. Here's the deal. Here's how you have to start viewing this. Sin does not begin with the action. We don't necessarily believe that, do we? But it's true. Sin does not start with the action. Sin does not start with that line that's way over there. Do you know where sin actually starts? Right here. It starts in the heart. It starts with the mind. It starts with the eyes. That's where sin begins, far before any action ever takes place. That's why Jesus said in Matthew 5:28, he says, "But I tell you that anyone who looks lustfully at a woman has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Where does the line start? It starts here. And it starts here. And it starts here. It doesn't start out there. And so when we have these clear boundaries, in our life, then we are setting the line of our hearts. We're guarding here. We're not sitting it out there or further out and just playing with the lines, putting our toes out. No, we're not doing any of that. Our clear boundaries are right here. Because sin always starts in the heart. Which basically simply translates as don't be around the wrong people. Don't be around the wrong people. Don't go to the places with certain people. Don't set yourself up for success. All right? Find a new place to work out at. Find a new place to eat lunch. Maybe you need to be transferred to a different department. Maybe you need to go find another job. A little word of advice, guess what? It's a lot easier to find a new job than it is to fix a 20-year marriage. A lot easier. Be wise. Set clear boundaries to respect and honor your spouse. The second thing, last thing, real simple. Invest passionately in your marriage. Invest passionately in your marriage. Listen, Proverbs 5:18-20. This is good. You guys are going to like this one, all right? This is a good one, all right? May your fountain be blessed. May you rejoice in the wife of your youth. Love and doe, graceful deed. May her breast satisfy you always. May you ever be intoxicated with her love. Why, my son, be intoxicated with another man's wife? What the father is saying to his son is this. Like, here's the deal. If the grass looks greener on the other side, you better start watering your own lawn. Don't go to the other grass. Water your own lawn. Because here's the thing. That word right there, intoxicated, very cool word. It's the Hebrew word shakar. Shakar. Doesn't that sound awesome? Shakar. Means intoxicated, but you know what else it means? Ravish. Uh-oh. And so you're sitting there going, ravish? Be ravished by her love. And you're like, amen. That's right. Be intoxicated, be ravished, get drunk on her love, be ravished by her love, no one else's. Be ravished, be intoxicated by the love of your spouse. No one else deserves that. No one else deserves that. Consistently invest passionately in your marriage. And let me give you a couple tips on how to do that, okay? A couple tips. One, spend time alone. Like, just you and your spouse. That is essentially important. Like, if you're not having just you time, where you're just you two, then you're going to struggle. So get alone. It doesn't matter if you can have date nights. If you can get date nights, if you can get regular date nights, that's really great. That's really awesome. And I encourage that big time. And you're sitting there and you're like, but Justin, we really can't because we've got kids and we can't get. Well, you don't have to leave the house. It's okay. You can just watch a show together, sit down and have dessert together or something like that. Lock the kids in the bedroom. It's fantastic, okay? But it's important. You got to get alone with your spouse. It's going to be just you and her or you and him. So a little bit of advice. You want to invest passionately in your marriage and your spouse. Get alone. Number 2, get spiritual. Here's the deal. You cannot not grow with your spouse if you are praying with them. Like, pray with your spouse. Pray for them, with them. Spend time in God's word. Share about what God's doing in your life. Like, if you can do some of those little things, that will help you out so much. Here's the thing. Like, sometimes in marriages, we fight. It's a fact, okay? No marriage is perfect, and you're going to fight in a marriage. But you know what's really difficult to do? It's really difficult to stay angry and mad at somebody when you're praying with them. Like, I have found that it's virtually impossible. And so, you know what? Maybe what you guys got to do is, like, hand to hand, just look in each other's eyes, all right? And just thank God for each other. Like, that might be, like, the first step you do. Get spiritual. Just to thank God for each other. Like, and pray it so they can hear you. Lord, thank you so much for my wife. Or every night she cooks me a delicious dinner. Thank you, Lord. You know, and then later, you thank you so much for my husband. You know, he always eats my food, all of it. Like, yay, thanks. Well, I don't care what it is, okay? But pray with each other. Pray for each other. Get spiritual. And so you got those two. You got get alone, get spiritual, and get intimate. I was going to say naked, but I was like, I can't say that in church, can I? But here's the thing. That's essential. That's important. That physical contact, that physical intimacy is extremely important. You need that extreme. It's essentially important. Like, you need that physical connection, that physical contact. That is vitally important in a marriage. Never neglect it. But see, here's the thing. When we're struggling with our spouse, that's the first thing that goes. That is the first thing that goes, because if we're not connecting spiritually and we're not connecting emotionally, then we don't want to connect physically. We don't want to do that. But it's important. Get alone, get spiritual, get intimate, or naked, or busy. I mean, they all work, okay? They all. I was like, can I say that in church? I just did, whatever. So, but that's how you need to invest passionately in your marriage. Do whatever it takes to invest passionately in your marriage. And here's the deal. Know this, that I am rooting for every single one of you. And I pray for the marriages of Northeast regularly. And for those of you that are new, like you're not married yet, but either you're hopeful or you're on that track. You know, maybe you're engaged and you got that special someone, you know. Understand, I realize how hard it is out there. Man, I tell you what, it is so difficult to meet people out there, and I know it is. I am praying for you specifically. Knowing how difficult it is out there, I'm praying for you specifically. For the newlyweds, those that are just married, and I consider like newlyweds like 4 years and under. That's what I consider that. That's like they were like, oh, it's the honeymoon period. Listen. The honeymoon period is the most difficult time, in my opinion. All right? That is the most difficult time. You're like, really? Is it really the most difficult? No, it really is. And so I'm praying for you guys. So if you are newly married and you're just starting off and you're like, yes, give this a go. Yeah. I know how difficult that is. I think it's the most difficult time for a young couple. And so I'm praying for you. And for those of you that have been married for like a decade or more, whew, congratulations. Congratulations. I am praying for you too. And I'm thankful for you. Don't ever give up. Don't surrender on your marriage. And so what I encourage you guys to do is honor your spouse, honor your God with your spouse. You and your spouse are one. It is you two against the world. It's you two against everybody. And so make sure that you guard and you protect that relationship, that union. Make clear boundaries. Sin does not start out there. Sin does not start with him or her that is your object. Never starts there. It always starts here. It starts in the heart. It starts with the eyes, and it starts with the mind. That's where sin will always start. Make clear boundaries to protect you and your one. Make those clear boundaries. And two, invest passionately. Invest passionately in your spouse. Give them your best. Not a hobby. Not your job. Not another man. Not another woman. Give your spouse your best. Get alone. Get spiritual. Get intimate. Get your shakar on, folks.